Welcome to World of Q Sport. Please don't forget to follow, subscribe, and like. This is an interview I did with Fergal O'Brien, and he discusses the late great three times Masters champion Paul Hunter.
Am I right thinking that you beat Dave Harold on the way to the Masters final?
That's right. Yeah. I was 5-1 up, got back to 5-4, and then I put a good long black, and nearly went in off as well. I think after to beat him 6-4. Yeah, in the semis.
And was that the semi?
Semis, yeah.
That was a tough game. So obviously, I mean, one of the things I suppose one of the highlights of your career would be that Masters final. And I think I said to the other day, I think if you'd played anyone else but Paul Hunter, you probably would have won that game. He had something about that place had something for him, didn't it? It was like I was at that final. It was an amazing final, by the way. Well done. It was brilliant. But you just felt like the crowd just felt like he had some kind of like power at that place. I don't know if you know what I mean, because you were 7-3 up going into the evening, weren't you? Is that right?
Yeah, it was 6-2 after the first session. Actually, it was quite poor the first session.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even say I played particularly well. Just it seemed to be close, and I just managed to pinch some 6-2. So again, felt good going out. And I was like at 7-3. I missed a simple red with the rest. I just needed the last red and the black. And I think if I put the red and the black, I go 8-3 up. I think I win probably. Well, I could maybe 10-3, but certainly maybe 10-5, 10-6. I think that would be too much. But obviously, he ended up winning that frame, and then he kind of went nuts. To be fair, it was 7-4. He went ton to go 7-6. I made a good 80 to go 8-6. So I kind of thought myself that might soften his cough a little piece. But then he went ton 90 or something. So it was 9-8 behind. But I do remember the atmosphere. I could kind of remember being in my chair and as we cleared up and putting the last black or so, actually saying to himself, like, listen to the roar. And as soon as the black hit the back of the leather, it was so noisy because probably he was a popular player anyway. But also the fact.
Well, I was going to say, I would say probably 90% of the crowd were sort of cheering for Paul Hunter, and there was a very small. There was a lady with me. She never really liked snooker. By the end of it, she was screaming for you to win because everyone was cheering for Paul Hunter. It was brilliant, mate. Was you nervous? You must was you. What that match must have been so emotional because, like you said, the first session wasn't brilliant, but then the second session, you're both hitting 80s, hundreds. You know.
Well, to be fair, even like that day, because I was far more nervous on the day before the match when in the British Open a couple of years. So I definitely felt a lot more calm. I kind of knew a bit more what to expect. And I said 6-2 up. I hadn't played great. It was going to plan. And as I said, if I go 8-3 up, I'd probably nurse it out. And people just go, Paul underperformed in the day. And that was one of those things. But so obviously, mind you, the best frame I probably ever won as a pro was that frame I won at 9-8. Because again, at 9-8, he'd went ton 90. And he was 40 out ahead. I remember losing his second when he missed. And he felt difficult just getting out of my chair because I took such a battering for the guts of an hour or so. And he says the crowd were willing him on. So it felt kind of very lonely as such. But I managed to dig in, and it was a great. I think I got a good pink to win to make it 9-0, which is like still probably the best frame I ever won. But obviously in the last frame, I have chances won. You would say I should have won. But so maybe when I was playing, I was under pressure. Obviously I was under pressure. That's why that's why I would have missed. But it's obviously afterwards very disappointing to lose because it was so close. But also with particularly the last frame with the chances I'd had, So, but
it was still a brilliant. You were still involved with probably one of the best finals at Wembley. I mean, I could probably only compare it to Williams and Hendry on that final black. That's how tight you and Paul were at the end of the game, really.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. As I said, Paul played so well, and obviously it added notoriety afterwards. When in his interview the next day, he said he availed of Plan B. But the funny thing with that as well, obviously my wife Jean was over as well at that for the final, obviously. But typical me, I kicked her out of the room, and because I wanted to have a bit of a kip in the afternoon where he had other plans and how to spend an hour or two. So you could argue he got lucky twice.